After Lanyan departed, Han Li did not immediately seal the silver light doorway. Instead, he turned toward Jintong and Xiaobai and spoke calmly. Since we're no longer pressed for time, you two should enter the flower branch domain first. It'll be easier for me to act alone. Neither raised any objections. The two stepped toward the door of silver light one after another. Yet Xiaobai had only just entered the flower branch domain when a thunderous boom exploded behind him. The door of silver light slammed shut abruptly, cutting Jintong off before she could pass through. "What's going on, Master?" Xiaobai urgently sent through voice transmission, but no reply came. At the same time, the world around Hanli and Jintong had already transformed into a frozen realm. Snow and ice filled the air, and the two stood atop a pavilion while the ground below was buried beneath thick ice, countless sharp ice spikes thrusting skyward like spears. "She really won't let it go," Jintong muttered darkly. "It seems a fight can't be avoided," Hanli replied with a soft sigh, gazing into the forest ahead. Every tree in sight had frozen solid and was now collapsing into drifting powder. As the frozen trees crumbled away, a wide path opened, revealing a woman in green robes seated upon a crystalline lotus throne that shot through the air like lightning. It was Immortal Lord Meowa. "I've sealed this entire region with my spirit domain. Let's see how you escape now," she shouted, halting 1,000 feet away. "Your sect is under assault by the Reincarnation Palace. Why chase us instead of dealing with them?" Hanli asked, brows drawn together. "Those scoundrels won't escape either," Immortal Lord Meowa replied coldly. "But first, I'll capture you and uncover what you're plotting." "You talk big for an old hag," Jintong snapped, baring her sharp teeth. The killing intent in Meowa's eyes deepened. "Shh, you look even uglier when you're angry," Jintong sneered. "Who gave you the courage to come out and embarrass yourself? My uncle will teach you a proper lesson." A pair of early Great Encompassment juniors, daring to act so insolent. Immortal Lord Meowa scoffed. "You clearly don't understand the gap between early and mid-Great Encompassment." "She doesn't know what happened to Gui Lingzi," Jintong laughed via voice transmission. "That's fortunate," Hanli replied. "We don't have time. We'll end this quickly." With a snap of his fingers, a golden spirit domain spread outward for dozens of kilometers. Within it, the flow of time slowed instantly. Hanli stepped forward, and the pavilion beneath him collapsed into ruins as he vanished. In response, Immortal Lord Meowa urged her lotus throne to glow brightly. Hundreds of translucent, petal-shaped lights burst forth in all directions. Hanli had just appeared behind her when a freezing torrent of light engulfed him, instantly locking the surrounding space in ice. Though he sensed danger, he was a fraction too slow. One calf froze solid, encased in a heavy pillar of ice that dragged him downward like dead weight toward the ice spikes below. Twisting midair, Hanli punched downward, unleashing tremendous force that shattered a wide swath of ice spikes and flung him back upward. Silver flames erupted from his calf, rapidly melting the ice. At that moment, a massive hexagonal ice crystal appeared overhead, firing 6 brilliant blue beams that formed mirrored white walls around him. Hanli rubbed his forehead in frustration. He had sworn not to fall for this again. Yet, here he was once more. Each mirrored wall reflected Hanli, every image bearing a different expression. Remaining calm, he summoned an azure bamboo cloudswarm sword. The sword was not reflected in the mirrors, much to his relief. The formation could reflect him, but not his treasures. With a swing of the sword, golden lightning surged forth, coalescing into a lightning dragon that circled him before soaring upward. The 6 reflections attacked simultaneously, fists swinging in place of weapons. Hanli transformed into his 3-headed, 6-armed devilish deity form, blocking all 6 strikes with his hands and claws. Before the reflections could act again, a deafening boom echoed as the lightning dragon smashed through the ice crystal above. 2 of its 6 corners shattered instantly, sending it flying back as the mirrored walls dissolved. Immortal Lord Meowa stared in shock. Previously, this ability had completely suppressed Hanli, yet now it barely delayed him. Unshaken, she rose from the lotus throne and stepped into the air as it descended. A 3-foot blue longsword appeared in her grasp, its aura sharp and profound. "Where's your little companion? Call her out so I don't have to hunt you separately," she said coldly. "Please don't scare Jintong." She's timid and frightens easily. Han Li replied. Immortal Lord Mialfa's eyelids twitched. Calling Jintong timid was laughable given her past deeds. So be it, she sneered. If she won't come out, I'll force her. Her sword flew skyward as she formed rapid seals. Glacial mist descended from the heavens. Frost instantly crept over Han Li's sword hand. Looking up, he saw blue light flashing within the mist, and countless streaks of blue sword light rained down like a storm. Han Li released immense time law power. A bright moon rose behind him, golden rays freezing everything into stagnation, including the glacial mist. Yet, the swordlight storm was unaffected, slicing through time itself. Activating his infernal devilish eyes, Han Li saw the truth. Glacial chi had frozen the surrounding space, shielding the swordlight from time's influence. With no time to retreat, he swung his sword upward. A massive whip of golden lightning lashed out, forming a brilliant arched bridge that blocked the descending swordlight. Explosions rang out as the storm battered the bridge until it froze solid and shattered. With nothing left to block them, the blue swordlights crashed down, obliterating the ground. Ice layered upon ice, piling into a towering mass over 100 feet high. Yet, amid the devastation, Immortal Lord Mialfa suddenly realized Han Li was nowhere to be seen. At that very moment, Immortal Lord Mialfa trembled violently, stumbling forward as she spat out a mouthful of blood. The torrent of blue swordlight pouring down from the heavens abruptly vanished, and the freezing mist dispersed into nothingness. Before she could regain her footing, silver flames burst forth from beneath her lotus throne, blooming into a massive fiery lotus that threatened to engulf her entirely. Her reaction was swift. She flashed more than 100 feet to the side in an instant, narrowly evading the silver blaze. The flaming lotus twisted and reshaped itself into a silver fire raven that dove straight toward her. She hurriedly raised her hand to summon her blue immortal sword, but what flew back was not only the weapon. Jintong was clinging tightly to its hilt. Shock flickered across Immortal Lord Mialfa's face, and Han Li seized the opening, appearing behind her like a specter and driving his sword clean through her chest. Golden lightning exploded from her front and back, forcing out a pained howl as her face turned ashen. You thought Jintong was hiding underground, so you followed her down, Han Li said calmly. But she was lurking in the skies all along. How could this be? How did she take control of my profound frost immortal sword? Immortal Lord Mialfa gasped, blood sliding from her lips. You can have this junk back. Jintong scoffed, tossing the sword at her feet. It's freezing, hard, and not tasty at all. Mialfa lowered her gaze in disbelief. The blade was missing a chunk, as if something had taken a bite from it. Shh, that thing's cold, Jintong muttered, rubbing her stiff hands in disgust. I was careless. Immortal Lord Mialfa snarled, but next time I'll repay this humiliation 100-fold. With that, her body instantly froze into solid ice, trapping Han Li and his azure bamboo cloudswarm sword within. A brilliant blue glow erupted from the center, blasting outward as shards of ice swept across the land like a raging blizzard. When the storm finally settled, the surroundings had transformed into a frozen world. Immortal Lord Mialfa was gone, along with her lotus throne and profound frost immortal sword. Jintong scowled. She actually escaped. That's fine, Han Li replied gently. We never planned to fight her for long. You did excellently. He instinctively reached out to pat her head, then awkwardly withdrew his hand, realizing she was no longer the little girl she once was. Jintong smiled in amusement at his embarrassment. Just go rest in the Flower Branch domain, Han Li said. I'll pursue Worm 3 and the others. They could be anywhere by now, Jintong complained. They were chased the entire way. There'll be traces left behind, Han Li replied. After sending her away, Han Li donned the black Reincarnation Palace mask and followed their trail. The tracks were obvious, and before long he arrived near a palace, echoing with the sounds of fierce combat. As he approached, his expression shifted. He slipped behind a boulder and activated his infernal devilish eyes, focusing on the stone pillars before the gates. Two transparent figures were hidden there, Qi Meng and Huo Yuan, both fixated on the battle within, unaware of his presence. Han Li silently sank into the ground and advanced, soon reaching the gates. Inside, Worm 3's group of 5 clashed violently with Taoist Master Chen Jun and the assistant abbots Yang Junzi and Lei Jun. Chen Jun battled the man in the rabbit mask, while the two abbots presided over a vast array surrounding a golden altar. Dozens of towering golden giants stood guard, clad in armor and wielding massive blades, unleashing streaks of metal law power that held Wu Yang, Lu Chuanfeng, Worm 3, and the Veiled Woman at bay. Above the altar hovered a radiant golden cloud, concealing an unknown treasure while pulsing with overwhelming spiritual power. The cloud shifted colors, yellow with earth law, green with wood law, then crimson and blue, cycling endlessly as space trembled beneath its weight. The Reincarnation Palace cultivators pressed forward from all sides, eyes locked on the cloud, while the Nine Origins Temple resisted desperately. The palace endured only due to its formidable restrictions, a treasure containing 5 types of law powers. Hanli thought in astonishment. Its aura surpassed even his Eon Divine lamp. He shared the vision with those in the Flower Branch domain, but none recognized it, save for Xiaobai, who recalled failed attempts by his father and by Zhe to refine such a treasure. Hanli then studied the combatants, focusing on the Veiled Woman and the Rabbit-Masked Man. The woman revealed her early Great Encompassment cultivation, dark, red light layered around her body like a rainbow. Her mirror treasure unleashed beams of reincarnation law power, effortlessly suppressing multiple golden giants. Her law was calm and adaptable, unlike Worm 3's fierce and domineering path. Though the Reincarnation Palace cultivators held the upper hand, the altar's array drew endlessly upon the palace's metal law power, preventing a decisive victory. The many battles erupting throughout the palace were each astonishing to behold. Yet the fiercest clash of all unfolded between the Rabbit-Masked Man and Taoist Master Chun Jun. Taoist Master Chun Jun stood solemn and composed, a veil of golden radiance enveloping his body, as innumerable mighty sword phantoms revolved around him like a divine storm. Opposite him, the Rabbit-Masked Man was shrouded in ever-shifting black shadows, twisting and refracting like a kaleidoscope as they surged from all directions. Any sword projection that touched them vanished without a trace. A flicker of realization passed through Hanli's eyes at the sight. Shi Kongmo, are you trying to ignite another war between the Devil Realm and our Nine Origins Temple? Taoist Master Chunjun bellowed in fury. I don't care about any war. I'm here for my wife and son, the Rabbit-Masked Man laughed coldly. You're decent, but still far beneath me. Hurry up and surrender. With a sweep of both sleeves, he unleashed a spirit domain spanning roughly 100 feet. Taoist Master Chunjun's expression shifted in surprise at those words, yet he had no time to reply. He immediately summoned his own golden spirit domain, compressing it to only 70 or 80 feet. Within it, countless golden sword phantoms flashed and collided violently with Shi Kongmo's distorted domain, shattering nearby space with a deafening explosion. So it truly is him, Hanli thought grimly. Somehow, Worm 3 had persuaded Shi Kongmo to aid the Reincarnation Palace. Yet one question lingered in Hanli's mind. Why were both spirit domains kept so restrained? It's been ages since I met such a worthy opponent. Shi Kongmo laughed, sleeves sweeping again, as more than a dozen black claw phantoms formed within his domain and lunged forward. Taoist Master Chun Jun hastily formed a hand seal, commanding all golden swords to surge toward the claws. Yet the claw phantoms were formless, slipping through the sword light and raking across his body. Deep gashes instantly tore into his flesh, exposing bone and forcing him to stagger backward. Is that all? How dull, Shi Kongmo mocked with a shake of his head. Abbot Chunjun, Yang Junzi and Taoist Master Lei Jun cried out in alarm, their focus momentarily shaken. Worm 3, now! Wu Yang shouted, eyes blazing as his hands moved in rapid seals. A mantra-treasured axis manifested behind him, and a golden spirit domain unfurled, filled with countless axial projections. Understanding instantly, Worm 3 formed seals of her own, releasing her reincarnation spirit domain. The two domains overlapped and trembled, resonating faintly with one another. Suddenly, a massive dark red wheel emerged within Worm 3's domain, its surface marked by 6 black holes as it spun with a terrifying aura. Wu Yang descended beside her, commanding the mantra-treasured axis to fuse with the wheel in a flash. The wheel doubled in size as golden patterns spread across it, time law power surging and resonating with the reincarnation law within. Hanli watched in surprise. He had believed only his own time law could resonate so well with Worm 3's power, yet Wu Yang had achieved something similar, though their coordination was clearly imperfect. Go! Together, they thrust their palms forward. The dark red wheel thundered toward the golden altar like an unstoppable force. Golden giants in its path were instantly smashed apart, loud booms echoing one after another. Yang Junzi and Taoist Master Lei Jun snapped back to attention. Though both were late great encompassment cultivators, Shi Kongmo's inner demon law had subtly affected them. Fortunately, they carried treasures resistant to such influence. Under their combined efforts, the altar array flared brightly as golden runes surged forth, empowering the giants and forming vast swordlight that wove into a radiant golden net. The wheel crashed into the net with earth-shaking force, ripping space apart as violent winds swept the palace. Though the net trembled and cracked like porcelain, it could not hold. The wheel smashed through, annihilating all obstacles as it sped toward the altar. Strangely, Yang Junzi and Taoist Master Lei Jun did not panic. At the final instant, a spherical barrier of black light enveloped the altar. The wheel struck it with a resounding clang, denting it slightly but unable to advance further. Above, Taoist Master Chen Jin retreated and swallowed a crimson pill, his wounds rapidly healing. He sneered. Your feint was clever, but futile. This is the profound origin, dark light barrier, set by the profound origin Tao ancestor himself. It will withstand anything. Triumphant smiles appeared on Yang Junzi and Taoist Master Lei Jun, only to vanish as Lu Chuanfeng appeared before Lei Jun without warning. Explosions of icy blue light burst forth, each carrying a glacial chill as they rained down mercilessly. A bone-freezing aura swept the palace. At the same moment, Wu Yang appeared before Yang Junzi, unleashing a storm of golden palm strikes. Shi Kongmo also intensified his assault, forcing Taoist Master Chen further back. In that instant, Worm 3 flashed to the altar and flung an object forward. From afar, Han Li recognized it at once, the black metal tablet from Tai Sui Immortal Manor. Taoist Master Chen Jun's face drained of color. The profound origin black tablet! How do you possess it? He tried to intercept her, but Shi Kongmo blocked him with countless ghostly black claws. With Lei Jun and Yang Junzi fully restrained, Worm 3 spat out a bead of blood essence that merged into the tablet. Black flames ignited, stretching into a 10-foot-long black sword that slashed downward. The once invincible barrier split open with a long gash. Worm 3 darted through, summoning a massive dark red hand that seized the cloud above the altar. Taoist Master Chen Jun and the others burned with rage, but could do nothing to stop her. At that critical instant, the cloud imprisoned by the dark red hand projection suddenly swelled to more than 10 times its size. A surge of blazing red light burst outward, nearly ripping the hand apart from within. Worm 3's expression shifted. She opened her mouth and spat out a sphere of dark red radiance, containing nearly 100 reincarnation law threads, which fused into the hand projection in a flash. The hand instantly doubled in size as countless wheel-shaped runes surfaced across it, its glow intensifying several-fold. An overwhelming spiritual pressure erupted, warping the space around the altar as the hand once more clenched tightly around the cloud. Before Worm 3 could rejoice, the cloud abruptly turned 5-colored. 5 distinct law powers intertwined, resonating as one. A thunderous explosion followed, and the 5-colored radiance condensed into a miniature sun that filled the entire profound heavenly dark light barrier. The light spun like a windmill, carving visible rifts through space. The dark red hand projection was shredded in moments. Wu Yang cried out urgently, "Retreat, Zhuzhen!" Worm 3's face changed drastically as she hastily withdrew, sweeping her sleeve to summon a small black flag that expanded into a dark barrier. At the same time, she produced a silver jade ruler that unleashed silver flames, forming a second layer of defense. The spinning blades of 5-colored light descended. The 2 barriers endured for only an instant before being torn apart. Fortunately, Worm 3 had already escaped through an opening in the profound heavenly dark light barrier. Yet before she could steady herself, waves of 5-colored light crashed outward from within. Though sturdy from the outside, the barrier shattered easily from internal impact, cracking apart before exploding and flooding the palace with destructive radiance. Shi Kongmo, Taoist Master Chen Jun, Wu Yang, and the others were swept away, slammed violently into the palace walls. Being closest, Worm 3 bore the brunt of the blast, her body embedded in the wall as blood spilled from her mouth. The veiled woman stood farther away and was less affected, managing to regain her footing despite being flung aside. In the process, a corner of her veil lifted, revealing half her face. Outside the palace, Hanli froze, staring at her intently. The five-colored light soon subsided and silence returned. The altar had vanished entirely, reduced to rubble, and the cloud above it was gone. With a clear clang, a small orb of five-colored light dropped near the palace entrance, revealing a fist-sized five-colored vial engraved with floral patterns. Hanli's eyes widened. Aside from its coloration, the vial was identical to his heaven-controlling vial. Could this be another replica? Given the 9 Origins Temple's resources, it was not impossible. Yet this vial radiated far greater power than Ma Liang's replica, scarcely inferior to the genuine artifact. The veiled woman had been knocked near the entrance and lunged toward the vial in delight, simultaneously releasing a streak of dark red light to seize it. At that very moment, purple lightning and crimson flames shot in from outside, striking the dark red streak together and tearing it apart. Huoyuan and Ximeng appeared. At Huoyuan's command, the purple lightning split into 2 massive lightning pythons. One lunged at the veiled woman, while the other coiled around the crimson flames, then blasted lightning toward the five-colored vial. "How dare you?" Ximeng roared, spewing crimson fire that transformed into a blazing net. Ensnaring the lightning python and intercepting its attack, she then unleashed her 9-dragon divine fire dome, sending it crashing down toward Huoyuan. Huoyuan's face darkened. He struck his forehead, revealing a complex lightning rune. 2 orbs of purple lightning shot forth, swelling into wagon wheel size before colliding and forming a massive lightning cloud that thundered like a descending deity. The cloud slammed into the 9-dragon divine fire dome, the 2 forces deadlocked. Though they had arrived together, all restraint vanished in the face of such a treasure. After evading the lightning python, the veiled woman summoned her ancient dark red mirror. A beam of dark red light shone down, detonating the lightning python as she vanished and reappeared closer to the vial. "You won't fool us." Ximeng snapped. 2 fiery dragons breathed flames that scorched space itself, while Huoyuan sent a torrent of lightning her way. Unwilling to retreat, the veiled woman expelled a globule of blood essence into her mirror. It doubled in size, runes spinning rapidly as an intensified red beam burst forth, halting the flames and lightning, though only barely. Her body trembled under the strain, yet she pressed on, closing to within 3 feet of the vial. Alarmed, Ximeng recalled her dome, sending it streaking down as 9 fiery dragons lunged at the mirror's beam. The palace heat soared like a volcano as Huoyuan directed the lightning cloud to descend, bolts crashing relentlessly. The red beam finally collapsed. The antiquated mirror shattered into 2 pieces. The instant the mirror shattered, an unnatural flush surged across the woman's face. She spat out a small mouthful of blood, her complexion draining to an ashen pallor as the backlash from her bonded immortal treasure ravaged her insides. Yet she did not even spare the broken mirror a glance. Reaching out with her right hand, she released a surge of dark crimson light that swept up the 5-colored vial and drew it firmly into her grasp. Ximeng and Huoyuan erupted in fury at the sight. Their hands blurred through a flurry of seals as 9 blazing fire dragons and a vast sea of purple lightning descended from every direction, crashing down upon her. Already grievously injured, her legs buckled under the crushing pressure, yet she still clutched the 5-colored vial with unwavering resolve. Wu Yang and Worm 3 blanched at the peril she faced and shot toward the palace entrance in a desperate attempt to save her. But the distance was far too great. Her veiled hat had been blasted away, fully revealing her face. Despair filled her eyes as she gazed up at the annihilating assault bearing down upon her. At that critical instant, spatial ripples burst forth as Hanli appeared directly before her. With a sweep of his sleeve, golden light surged outward and rose above her head, transforming into a luminous golden cloud etched with countless drifting runes. The cloud enveloped both Hanli and the woman within. Shock rippled through everyone present. In the next heartbeat, the golden cloud was swallowed by roaring flames and thunderous lightning. A deafening roar shook the heavens as space within several hundred feet shattered apart, spawning countless intersecting rifts, while the world's origin chi churned in chaos. The palace trembled violently, golden light flickering across its walls and floor as if on the verge of collapse. After a long while, the storm finally abated. The spatial rifts sealed shut, and as the dust cleared, the golden cloud emerged, much smaller, yet intact and unyielding. Qimeng and Huoyuan stared in disbelief. They had unleashed their full strength, yet failed to breach that thin veil of gold. Suddenly, two shrill cries rang out as twin streaks of golden light shot toward Qimeng and Huoyuan. Both retreated in alarm. The golden streaks did not pursue, instead returning to Wu Yang and vanishing into his sleeve as he appeared beside the golden cloud in a flash. Worm 3, Lu Chuanfeng, and Shi Kongmo arrived moments later, forming a protective ring around it. Hanli waved his sleeve, withdrawing the golden cloud. Amidst the tense standoff, his gaze remained locked upon the woman at his side. Wanner? His usual calm had shattered completely, leaving only shock and vulnerability. This was a face he had seen countless times within his dreams, now even more heartbreakingly beautiful. His mind went utterly blank, consumed solely by her presence. He longed to reach out and hold her, yet feared she would vanish at his touch like a reflection on water. An unprecedented surge of emotion rose within him, shattering a long-standing bottleneck as his mental state ascended to a new realm. "Wanner, are you speaking to me?" the woman said with a frown. "Thank you for saving my life, but my name is Rushuang, not Wanner." She stood, swallowed a red pill, and eyed him with visible displeasure. "Rushuang?" Hanli froze. "Thank you for saving Sister Rushuang, fellow Taoist Han." "Why are you here?" Worm 3 asked, clearly unsettled by his strange behavior. Hanli glanced at her but offered no reply, his eyes returning to Rushuang. A trace of disdain flickered across her face as she stepped behind Wu Yang to avoid his gaze. Pain stabbed through Hanli's heart. His fists clenched as he glared at Wu Yang, certain beyond doubt that the woman before him was Nangong Wan. He could not fathom how she had joined the Reincarnation Palace or reached the Great Encompassment stage, but he knew he could not be mistaken. Wu Yang frowned slightly and urged, "Now isn't the time to linger. We need to leave." Before his words fully fell, the palace gates slammed shut with a thunderous boom, sealing everyone inside. Alarm swept through the group. Qimeng, closest to the gates, formed a seal and summoned a colossal crimson sword wreathed in flames. It struck the gates with terrifying force, erupting into a fiery mushroom cloud as fire law power raged outward. Golden light surfaced over the gates. The flames dispersed, leaving the gates utterly unscathed. Qimeng's expression darkened. "These restrictions were personally set by our patriarch," Taoist Master Chunjun said coldly. "They take time to activate, but once they do, this palace becomes an inescapable cage." Yang Junzi and Taoist Master Lei Jun stood behind him, each holding a radiant golden tablet pulsing with light. The palace interior was now fully enveloped in golden radiance. Hanli had regained his composure. Realization dawned as he looked toward Yang Junzi and Lei Jun. So that had been their true objective all along. Qimeng's failed attack confirmed just how formidable the restrictions were. He glanced up at the ceiling, brows knitting. From the moment he entered, an invisible force had suppressed the use of law powers. No wonder even great encompassment cultivators could only manifest diminished spirit domains. With the restrictions activated, the suppression had grown even stronger. Wu Yang and the others scanned their surroundings grimly, while Shi Kongmo remained as aloof as ever. Taoist Master Chunjun's gaze shifted to Lu Chuanfeng. "Lu Chuanfeng, how did the Reincarnation Palace convince you to betray the Heavenly Court and kill Immortal Envoy Feng Tian?" "They didn't need to," Lu Chuanfeng replied lightly. "I was one of them from the beginning." Surprise flashed across Chunjun's face, quickly replaced by a cold sneer. "So their reach truly runs deep. None of you will leave this place alive." "If you're capable, feel free to take my head," Lu Chuanfeng laughed. Chunjun snorted and turned to Qimeng and Huoyuan. "And you two? Are you also connected to the Reincarnation Palace?" "Of course not," Qimeng replied with a pleasant smile. "Mountain Master Huo and I intervened. We only because that vial was about to fall into the hands of those Reincarnation Palace scum. We harbor no ill intent."